think you look cute. I like that colour.
You do.
Just thinking, you look all professional there, and I'm like, I haven't got my legs out, and I've got a short skirt on, and I'm... Anyway, oh good. All right. Hi Tess, welcome to the Couch with Ness. Today, everybody, I have Tess McIntyre, who's joined me. She was a surgical dental nurse, then went into being a mum and a fantastic kinesiologist, and most recently, she is now a licensed teacher of the art of feminine presence. Now, Tess and I met back in 2013 when I was attending her kinesiology clinic for treatment. And it seems like a long time ago now, and we've done so much together since. So I have been surrounded by her beautiful energy over the years and love and support. And I wanted to sit with her today to talk about her most recent venture, which she's been absolutely successful with teaching people the art of feminine presence. Now, Tess, may I ask you, what is the art of feminine presence?
Thanks, Ness. So the art of feminine presence is a practice. It's a daily practice for men, women and teens to help them remain and stay centered, connected and embodied. And that is most beneficial in today's world, where we have a lot of outside pressures and we feel that we get overly influenced by our environment, by other people, and especially those very important people like family and friends. And how do we know where home is or where center is? And that's what the art of feminine presence is, sort of in a nutshell. It's about coming back to this home idea and what is home, and the practices allow us to understand when we are not embodied, and then when we are being pulled outside of ourselves. And this is where a lot of our stress, anxiety and tension can come in, when we are not home. So that's essentially what art of feminine presence is.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because we sometimes feel insecure in ourselves and behave in a way that comes across not great to others if they don't know where that's coming from. So would that help? Would that help us with that?
A lot of the time what I noticed with myself was, and with others, is that we're attempting to live up to an idealized version of ourselves, and that could be from our family, our background, it could be our profession even, and we put on a projection, or sometimes called a bit of a mask, and it's a really tough place to maintain for someone. It also can come across as a little bit inauthentic, so you're not quite sure when you're speaking with someone if you're actually getting to the real person, or is that just their work hat, or their mum hat, or the I'm the good daughter hat, or something like that. So coming back home is an authentic expression of that loving daughter, of that position of leadership in business, and that parental energy as well. But it's from an authentic place. It's not as masky or as put on, and that's really a lot of our stress is because we're attempting to live up to this image.
That would be really helpful, actually, for a lot of people out there. As you said, whether or not it's work or personal, it's not everybody is comfortable within themselves. I would say probably nearly everybody is, and we've all got our things, don't we? But you're saying that this isn't, because there's the feminine word in there.
Correct.
Now, I might sound a little bit ignorant here, but when you see the feminine word, you automatically associate that with the females. But you're saying that this is for every human.
That's right. Okay. We are a balance of masculine and feminine energy. So within each man, woman and child, we have that symbolism of that type of yin and yang. So it's that Chinese symbol of yin and yang. And within, if you can recollect that symbol, that yin yang symbol, there's in the dark aspect there's a spot of white, and in the white aspect there's a spot of darkness. So essentially a woman will embrace more of her feminine aspect, and what we tend to see today is a lot of women embracing more of the masculine, the do, the go, the busy, I need to be on top, I need to be superwoman, I can run this company, I can make all the cakes for the for the next Twilight Fair at school for the kids.
I know.
I can be, you know, I'll need to be that sexy woman for my husband. I might need to perform for others and look like I've got it all together. And that is a very masculine energy. And what we're all coming back to is that the feminine energy is incredibly powerful, and it's an untapped resource for women. And for men, it is bringing in that balance between the masculine, the overly masculine, and bringing in, and I'm going to use a word that might challenge a few men, which is a softness.
Yeah.
But it's in that softness that men are actually stronger, and women, it's the same. It's in the softness that women become strong. Yeah.
That sounds perfect. Absolutely perfect, because we do need to soften some of those blokes. But if they would like to be softened. So may I ask, do you have an example? Like if people are thinking, okay, give me an example of what you're trying to explain here.
So the one that really landed for me when I was, so last year when I was attending my first Art of Feminine Presence in-person event. So I did the 12-week online process. I found that really beneficial, but I love being with people, and I wanted to experience firsthand what it was like to be in a room of other women that were coming together to explore these types of principles and practices. And one of those practices landed really, really, really well with me. And it was the identification of one of three energetic states that we may find ourselves becoming or doing. And the great example that made so much sense for me was if you were to walk into a room of 300 people.
Some people, that's scary.
Just saying
Even
that.
if you're not the speaker of the day or anything,
That's
just walking into that's pretty scary. So is that...
That's what. So what would you do? Would you be the person that would walk in, but then slink around the corners of the room and just grab a drink and sit quietly in your seat? Would you be the person that starts thinking or needing to make contact with every single person in the room, almost like I'm going to go and speak to you, and I need to speak to you, and what's going on?
I need to be seen.
And it's a little bit like I need to be seen. So there's a bit of that. I need to be seen. I'm here, but also it's more like I want to be all over you,
which comes across not so good.
So it can be a little bit where people might just, you know, and the person doing it may not even understand. And the person that's shrinking doesn't really want to shrink. That person, that man or woman, really does want to have maybe one or two conversations according to their natural personality, versus I will just, exchange pleasantries. And the third energetic state is the trickiest one. It's the energetic state of when you are in a room of 300 people. Do you find yourself almost diffusing all of your energy in the room and then taking on board all 300 people and what's going on for them? It's like the empathy or the empath out of control. And and it's not connected necessarily with one, it's connected with all. And what Art of Feminine Presence does is help you identify which of those three, and there are many practices, there's 44 practices in total. And one of those that landed most for me was identifying which one of those three and what happened to me when I moved into that energetic state. We can be mainly one, sometimes one or two of those, and we do a practice, we help you focus, and essentially we bring you home. It doesn't matter which energetic state that is. We bring you home back to yourself so that your natural, the natural you, the real you, the authentic you shines. And it doesn't matter essentially what position you hold in society or in that company, what position you might hold in that family gathering. It doesn't matter if there's an issue with someone at that event, at that meeting, at that school, at the kids' party, or at your next family event. It doesn't matter if there's someone else there that you might feel is difficult. You will always be able to hold with those practices yourself.
That's really, really valuable, because you're being true to yourself, so they don't have to change as a person. They're being taught a tool that they can use to feel comfortable within themselves. Is that in short?
Absolutely, yeah.
I would find that as confident as I am, of course there are situations like anybody where you do enter certain situations, events, whatever's happening, and you do feel that. So to have those tools is really, really quite powerful, isn't it? Yeah. So would that have been also one of the reasons why you got involved? Now you're a teacher. So yes. Why did you take it to the next level? Like, why did you decide, oh, well, I'm not just going to learn this, I need to teach this? Did you feel a pull from somewhere?
Absolutely. I was actively searching for another element, modality, component to the work that I offer currently. So as a kinesiologist, as a doTERRA wellness advocate, I felt that I had, and this is quite an interesting dynamic, I felt that I had the kinesiology, which was very personal, one-on-one. We supported that person, and it was treatment or therapy. The essential oils, when they came in, were more like another avenue to help people where they didn't necessarily have to or want to maybe do therapy. And the essential oils being plant-based medicine and the dynamic versatility of using essential oils, not only for our health, but also for our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I found that that was one aspect, but I needed something that someone could take out into their everyday. And whether or not they had kinesiology or even essentials, they could use a practice, a grounding practice, first thing in the morning, whenever they needed it, just before an interview, just before a high stakes conversation. What do you do in that moment? Yes, you can meditate, you can use your breathing techniques. They're all wonderful. They're the best. But a somatic experience of you knowing where home is, now that is priceless.
But what a beautiful blend. As you said, they all just interlation. Yeah, that interlace. You knew what I meant. Yeah, so how beautiful. That's gorgeous. So you've got some upcoming classes. So if anybody's interested in hearing more or when those classes will be, I will put some info in the text. So please have a read and we can get back to you. And that's all around Australia and all around the world. Because Tess is going to have a look in the future, not at the moment, for some online classes as well, because currently they are in person. However, if there is a big uptake, she'll have a look into that. But please get in touch. Thank you for joining me on the couch today. Pleasure. And no doubt we'll do a few more videos in future. So thanks again, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.